It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs.
Let's go.
We about to take off with the quick plays and the stick saves. Most entertaining since the old days. This is where the players mold all day. Growing the game with a bold take. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off.
Booming.
Steelhawks.
What a finish! JP Healy! Boy, that's a highlight and a half. Dalty in the back of the net.
It's the ALL.
The Riverwolves with a clean cut breakaway. Minicello.
Live. JVI. That's kind of cool. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to
Big
take
save
off.
by Coop.
The Arena Lacrosse League playoffs on the JVI Sports Network.
Hello, lacrosse fans, and welcome back to the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena on the Six Nations of the Grand River Reservation on the outskirts of Brantford, Ontario, for continuing coverage of the Final Four weekend in the Arena Lacrosse League. In our second semifinal, the 4-seed Oshawa Outlaws, led by the league's leading scorer, John St. John, will have their hands full with the number 4 seed, Paris Riverwolves. I'm Len Swin, working alongside my surprise special guest, Darcy Powless. Glad to have you with us, of course, working in cooperation with JVI Productions and Gary Morrison and company. And Darcy, when we talk about these two teams, very evenly matched, and you had a chance to chit-chat with the coaches prior to the game. What did they say some of the keys to a win here would be?
Biggest thing they said is their top players have got to be their top guys. It's time to put it up. It's no time to sit back and hope for somebody else to do the job. The top players got to do their job. Paris said they need goaltending. Their goaltender played well last weekend against us. They need him to do that again, especially against the top 2 scorers of the league in St. John and Lazowitz.
Now, if we look at the Riverwolves, of course, they certainly come into this game after a big win against you guys. You're very familiar. What do they have to do here against the Outlaws?
They just got to do what they did to us last week, and they pressed the ball well. They moved it up the floor well. Their offense was clicking. The ball was flying. They looked really good against us, unfortunately. But they just got to come out and just play the way they did last weekend, and I think they'll be okay. Goaltender-wise, I think they do have the edge in net over Oshawa, so I think that's what it's going to come down to at the end.
Well, that, of course, will take us to the starting goalies for today's game for the Outlaws. It'll be Scotty Coomer. Comes in with a record of 2-5 in the regular season and a 12.64 goals against average. And at the other end, it'll be the veteran Nolan Clayton, as we alluded to. He'll get the call for the Riverwolves. His record, regular season, 4-4 with a 12.70 goals against, coming off an outstanding quarterfinal performance, of course, against the nation. Head coaches on the Oshawa bench in his third season. Steve McCarthy is the head coach and GM. His assistant is former NLLer Steve Tall and John Webb. And for Paris in his third season as the man in charge, it's Jamie Dubrick. He's joined by Chris Driscoll and trainer Ali Stewart. Today's officials, and it's a veteran crew. Bob Hollingsworth is the crew chief. He's joined by the veteran Roger Nurse and John Watson. So as the teams will make their way from the crease to the bench, and we've got a good one here, a big win for the Shockwave early on. They seem to dust the cobwebs off and put together an outstanding second half. Did that kind of unfold the way you thought it would?
Yeah, they're a second half team. I've seen them do that a few times this year. They did it against us during the season. We were up 8-3 at halftime. They changed goalies. They switch goalies at half every game, no matter what. And Maltzer plays the same way. He keeps the same thing going. Doesn't change too much. And we just couldn't adjust, and they come back, and they end up beating us 10-9 at the end. But same thing. That was pretty much the way they had set it up. They did the same thing to Peterborough here a couple weeks ago near the end of the season. Peterborough's all over in the first half, and then they come back and beat them in the second half again and just change goalies. Peterborough couldn't adjust to the new goalie, and they were able to get on a roll and run with it.
Well, that's what good teams do. As we're about to get ready, the Shockwave have punched their ticket to tomorrow's championship final. This one here about to get underway. And it'll be Jamie McMahon and Paul Jelly. And off the draw, Blind Malajelli will get it back to Mark DeBrone. DeBrone wastes no time. He'll take it hard to the net. Dumps it off. Great stick finish. Nice. So Jeff McNulty on the receiving end. And I'm not sure if there was a late hit on the play, but wasted no time to get on the board was Jeff McNulty 9 seconds into this game. And it's 1-0 for the Outlaws.
That's what happens off a clean win. You're able to take the ball and take it down the floor like that. It creates that quick transition, quick opportunity. And unfortunately, it looks like they're going to get a power play out of the deal, too. It looks like probably a 5 from behind because he followed him into the boards. But he had a wide open net coming in following the play up.
And that looks like Travis Burton's going to grab a seat in the bench, and certainly not the way you diagrammed your start if you are Jamie Dubrick and Chris Driscoll. You would have liked to have had a chance to get into the flow of the game just a bit before you had to put your man short unit out there, but either way, that's going to be the case here. And our first power play of the game is going to go to the Outlaws, leading this one 1-0. So off the draw one more time, it's Jelly with the win and possession to the Outlaws, and they will send out their potent attack. Luke Laskowicz, one of the leading scorers in the league. John St. John, the leading scorer in the league, working out there with Jeff McNulty, as well as on that side, and looking for the flip back is Jeremy McWaters. That finds no one, and there's a race for it. And it's Brett Albicus, the transition specialist. Good backhand pass, good hands, not able to finish though. So Thomas Whitty got a good pass in transition from Albicus, not able to catch it cleanly, and it'll come back the other way with the Outlaws setting up on the power play. Josh Gilray out there on the right side. And a big shot overhand, stopped by Clayton. That's picked up and moved up. So a good lead pass softly on the carpet for Josh Medeiros. Medeiros up down, big save by Scotty Coomer. So Coomer thwarts the shorthanded attempt, and now St. John will trot it up and over the timeline with 50 seconds to go in a man advantage. Laskowicz now has slid over to the right shooter spot. Start things now on the left side. Waters gaps it. Laskowicz steered aside by Clayton. Good job by St. John to bat it. He gets it down. Fresh clock now for the Outlaws. They'll kick it back out. McWaters. Laskowicz again, never shy. Tees that up. Clayton made that look easy, and a beauty pass on the money. Marcus Minicello. Back of the net. We're all tied. 1-1. Shorthanded marker for Minicello.
That looks all too familiar from last weekend. It was a nice pass, nice breakout, and that's what you want. Even the last breakout they put it up over top and let the guy run through it. That's a smart play, easy pass to make.
Well, we're going to work on all these flashbacks you're going to have. You might have a deja vu or two while we're up here, so we're with you, man. We're with you. So big transition goal, and I think anytime you can get those transition goals, it's big. It certainly helps your team, gives them a lift.
For sure, you get the goals from the guys who usually don't score. That makes it huge. Takes a little bit of pressure off your offense for sure.
15 seconds left in the power play. DeBrone will bring it over the line, dump it off, and it'll start with McNulty on the half-board's left side. Out there with Cam Garland. St. John now at the top, and he'll be the facilitator. Penalty over now. Teams at full strength. McNulty sniffing that short side wide of the mark.
It's a bad shot.
Race now for it. It's Travis Burton and St. John. St. John exceptional at playing both ends of the carpet. And despite the fact that he's an offensive juggernaut, he plays good defense too. Speaking of which, Dan Keene, the flip down low, quick stick try, stopped by Coomer. Dan Keene, of course, the mainstay on this Paris team. Keene, one of their top performers throughout the regular season. And Outlaws now, the give and go, and a good hard hit. So Gage Board knocked off the ball, battling for it in the corner. In there with Whitty, and it's picked up, and the Riverwolves would get it over the timeline. Good job by Hunter Angus. He'll drop it off. Drake Smith out there now. Keep an eye, Smith.
Nice
Eddie,
check.
and Eddie Renault. You got Eddie Renault, the pickup from Toronto, and in transition, moving up quickly is Aaron Walker. Walker will dump it off, and it's Cam Garland. Garland. Step by one, and he'll send a bounce to McNulty off the short hop. McNulty on the fly gets it back to Garland. Garland looking for an opening, can't find one. 10 on the shot clock, gets it over to McWaters. McWaters eludes a couple checks, back to Garland. Garland one-on-one, more than a handful. Should have taken him one-on-one. Good dump down by St. John. McNulty not able to get a good shot off. Good defense by the Riverwolves, and they will get possession and try to move it up over the timeline.
Oshawa missed a good opportunity there. St. John walked right down the middle. The guy with the ball wasn't paying attention. He was wide open for a good few seconds.
Well, that's been one of the issues throughout the regular season. You got to figure, as Spencer Pike having himself an outstanding playoff up to this point, you look at a guy like St. John, really, a lot should go through him. And on the run, good job swinging it over. And good discipline by Josh Tagore to pull that out, and the speedster will get it over to St. John. He'll be a little more deliberate. The question is should you go through him all the time? St. John probably should have taken that shot that time at the very least, and it's Whitty now that'll bring it up over the timeline. Thomas Whitty will hang by the half boards and float one to Eddie Renault. Big windup and wide of the mark. I don't have a number on here for Eddie Renault, so I'm going to assume he's wearing number
12.
He is wearing number 12. Okay. Thanks for helping me out there, Rookie Palace. Appreciate that, as McWaters will curl around, get it over to Garland. Garland makes a move, pulls back in, got Jamie McMahon on him, dumps it inside. McWaters can't handle it. Laskowicz battling for it. Still loose in the corner. Comes up on the half boards. A lot of hitting going on. Scooped up. Buzzer goes, and that will take us to our first officials timeout. And when you look at the way this game started, Darcy, I mean, pretty much as per the script that you talked about off the top.
Yeah, even Oshawa had right on their, part of their thing was transition. If you can get a quick face-off, get a guy, especially a face-off man, who can handle the ball, who can take it and go and is confident to either make the shot or make the pass, that draws a lot of attention into him as well, and it opens up your offensive guys that are on the line with him ready to go. And coming back the other way, same thing. We talked about that. Paris transition up the floor, 2 transition goals.
Well, tell me, when you, as a coach, and I say this because your team is an up-and-down team, you guys have no problems trying to take advantage of the transition game. Is that something that you specifically incorporate in that? Is that just the style you want to play?
It's both, actually. Like I said, we got defensive guys who can handle the ball, like Little Vern, Justin Martin. They can handle the ball. They can pick it off. They can stay and play offense at any time. Mike McLaughlin, he's the same way. And our team was designed that way. We run 8 out the front, and then we had our transition guys, so they're comfortable. They can stay. They can join the play, stay part of the game. So, and then with these guys also, Paris does the same thing. They did the same thing to us last week and transitioned it up. If there was nothing there, their guys were confident enough to stay out there and stay on offense.
Well, that makes for entertaining lacrosse, that's for sure. Riverwolves take it right at the Outlaws, wasting no time. And a good attempt there, but Outlaws now will bring it back, and it's Graham Bergsma. Veteran will stop, start, put on a hesitation, go by one defender, kicks it back out to McNulty, who finds St. John. St. John McNulty's got some room now, working one-on-one. Trying to shed a defender, goes by, quick pass, but not able to find a handle on that. was Mike Bertoli. And that now the shot clock's going to wind down and possession's going to go to Paris. So a good defensive set there by the Riverwolves to hold the Outlaws to nothing quality-wise.
It forced a late second outside shot. That's what you want as a defense.
Eddie Renault out there, number 12. His shot blocked, knocked down, and it's Josh Tagore. I don't think you're going to catch this guy, but it's a foot race. Tagore picks the corner. So how about that? You talk about transition. Josh Tagore does a good job, puts on the wheels, and he gives his team a 2-1 lead.
Same thing, no hesitation. Took it and away he went. Put it top corner, looked like old sniper out there.
Well, he must have got his speed from his dad, so I seen his dad working up and down those stairs, looking pretty spry. So good on him and good on Josh. So the Outlaws with a 1-goal lead here, and we can expect this one to go back and forth. As we know, when you got a 3 seed and a 4 seed, anything can pretty much happen. That coupled with the fact that it's the playoffs and it's all about one game. So Albicus now teetering on that line, gets it over, and they swing it over to Spencer Pike. Earl trying to get the big shot off, works his way in, and sometimes Pike just one fake too many. And they'll get it over to Keene. Keene with 5 on the shot clock. Dan Keene diving. Dan Keene parks it in the far corner. Beauty goal for Dan Keene. And the team's leading point getter is on the board. We're tied at 2.
That was a nice one-on-one take. Takes him underside. He's a little stocky guy. He's solid and hard to move. He just leaned in and took it across the front of the crease and finished nicely. Got Comer leaning, brought her back short side. Not
easy to do when you're in midair for sure. And I tell you, I think it's important that you take advantage. When you have a one-on-one matchup and you have room to beat a guy, I think you certainly have to take advantage of that situation. At the very least, draw another defender. Now, someone's definitely got to be open. You can dump it off. Off the draw, Jamie McMahon now will give the Riverwolves possession as we're just under 8 minutes here, opening quarter. Lance Wynn alongside Darcy Palace, JVI Productions. Glad you've tuned in. Good move to duck under. Kick it back out. Beauty, good fake. Renault tried to tuck it. Coomer, big save. Bergsma will pick it up and move it up to Ryan McCrory. McCrory puts on the brakes, hesitation, pulls back out, and he'll dump it to St. John. St. John, skip pass, will get it over to Gilray. Gilray slides all the way over half boards left side, finds Laskowicz, swing it back to the right. Back to the left. And St. John is mauled. He's taken down. That will result in a power play for the Outlaws, and sometimes you just got to do that with the league's leading scorer.
Sure, especially if he was going to get beat underneath. It's either that's almost a good penalty to take if you're going to get beat underneath, stop the scoring opportunity. And like I said, it's a league leading scorer, so most likely 9 out of 10 times that's going to go in the net. So
we're very close to it, and for the second time, 0 for 1 with the man advantage. The Outlaws power play will go to work. McNulty out there on the left side with Garland. St. John at the top. Laskowicz is at the right shooter. He'll slide down. St. John, big shot. Good save by Clayton. Ball loose now, battling for it. St. John in that corner. 2 Outlaws, can't come away with it, but good hustle to scoop that up by Gilray. Fresh clock here for the Outlaws. 1.5 minutes to go in the penalty. Garland at the top. He'll pass it and go. St. John now looking for that skip pass. Dangerous pass picked off though by Whitty. Whitty now has Albicus with him. Albicus wrong stick side. They do the crossover. Good screen. Low shot through the 5-hole. So a good job by Albicus to provide the screen and give Thomas Whitty credit as he went 5-hole on Coomer, and it's 3-2 for the Riverwolves.
Just that little switch inside, switch the angle. Comer had to step that little bit to adjust the angle and opened up and was able to find the soft spot there and put it in.
So let me throw you a curveball here. Now, the women's final, we've got Riverwolves and the Shockwave. What's your call on that one?
Same thing. They had good games all season long.
We saw your snipers today. It was a tough loss for you. Yep. I didn't want to bring up the score or anything. So
no, they battled good all season. That's going to be a really good game. If you can get down here to watch it, it'd be a good game to watch. They're just as intense as the guys. But
or more, yeah.
my sister's on the Paris team, so I kind of leaning towards her to win something.
Gotcha.
But I coach half the Shockwave team in the summertime when the women's box league. So
so you've got
I got people
you got
all
ties
over the
all
place.
around, man. That's right. That shot from Laskowicz, wrong stick side, was looking for the short side on the corner, not able to find it. It goes the length of the carpet, and the Outlaws now will have to retreat and set it back up now with plenty of time on the shot clock. Laskowicz now will take his turn at the top, working with McWatters, Gilray, St. John, and McNulty, and a bit sloppy there, not able to corral that, and it's Albicus. Watch Albicus. He'll lull you to sleep sometime, then put on the Jets. You throw in a Josh Medeiros, who has the ball right now, and you've got a couple of creative transition players, and it's back out to Eddie Renaud. Renaud now. Get it over Keene. Shot right on target. Stopped by Coomer, and the Outlaws now will get a chance. Penalty over. Teams now back at full strength as we slip into the 5-minute mark, first quarter. Garland. They'll swing it around to Gilray. Gilray looking for a screen. Had that in the roll. Got an opening. Turn in the corner. On the run. Bounce shot wide of the mark. That goes out of play. And it will go possession the other way. And that will be possession to the Riverwolves, but not until we head to our second officials timeout.
That was good defensive play the last two. On his hands, bugged him, made him throw a bad pass, and the last one just rode him across, didn't allow him to make that turn and go to the net. Pushed him out of position.
So tell me something, Darcy, now with the changes. I mean, back in the day when a lot of us used to play, the rules were a whole lot different, right? Now, what are some of the things that, you've got to teach differently to these guys that, wasn't the same for you? And I mean, don't say bring out the Woody or, we know that, right? That's an obvious one. But,
a lot of it is just the off-ball stuff. Like before, when I was younger, even when we played in CLAX, you're able to pound the crap out of the guy on the arm and let him know you're there. But now it's almost more like field lacrosse. You're not allowed to touch him. They have to give him that space and time to cut, which opens it up more offensively. So that's why there are more offensive chances coming in, because you're not going to be allowed to touch you until you technically have the ball.
Well, listen, totally different. I was telling someone back in the day when the crease was like a guarded wall where you couldn't even put your stick over that line, and things different. And you look at the way that you set a pick now, you're allowed to check the guy. I haven't seen that. That's new. But so there have been some evolution to the game that is good for the viewers' entertainment, but not necessarily the best for some of the players. Bergsma tiptoed around that, coughed it up. Drake Smith couldn't handle that loose ball. Picked up by Coomer. Coomer now will look to make a good outlet. That's knocked down by Smith. Outlaws having a hard time getting it out of their own end. Bergsman's going to have to hurry. He's not going to do it. That's going to be a violation, and it'll go back to the Riverwolves. So some good forechecking. Forces the turnover, and quick shot.
Oh, nice save.
And a good save by Coomer.
That's the thing, too, with it being on the carpet. The carpet saves a lot of goals from rolling in.
It sure does. Chance there for Pike, and good job, Keene, playing safety. So that is correct. I thought that was Cole's spear, and was, so no one's offended there off that. Ball loose now, and not realizing that there was still some time on the shot clock, so working hard to spear. Nice. And he takes two men on his back and buries it. So Cole Spear on cue. And no one likes when those diving goals result in contact with the goalie.
Yeah, that's part of the rule. That's what they're supposed to watch for, is you can dive into the crease, but you can't dive into the goalie kind of thing. You got to almost kind of aim wide and get your shot off without diving in towards the goalie.
Well, it's funny because we've seen now that and again, that goes hand in hand with our discussion about the evolution and some of the changes. and you look at that dive, that's probably now the most difficult thing for a referee to call. And you can see, as you can see on the replay, to be able as a referee to go from watching where the guy takes off, making sure that the stick doesn't touch anything, and then making sure the ball goes in before the guy lands.
Yep.
That's a whole lot that has to go on, to make the call. Now, mind you, for, again, entertainment value, it's great.
Yep.
But it makes it a little difficult on the officials for sure.
Yeah, and then I've talked to the refs before. Same thing, we've always questioned it, whether it's a goal or not.
Well, I think you got to. And, as a coach, I mean, you may not be chirping at him for this call here that he's not going to change, but maybe it's the next call that might make him think or put something in the back of his mind that, you know what, maybe he did just tiptoe on that line.
A lot of the reviews up in the NIL, they're mostly the crease calls, crease dives and stuff. That's what they're looking for.
That's exactly it. So Tagore will pick it up, has a look. Pass just a bit off to DeBrone, plays to Karam, he gets it. Has Albicus on him. Two speedy guys, he takes a hard hit, coughs it up, ball loose now. Gets hockeyed back into the corner, and Albicus now will go to work here as the Outlaws. And in between time, we missed a penalty there. Of course, I did. And minute and a half left in the Paris power play, their first of this game.
Yeah, after Cole scored on the crease dive there, Comer didn't appreciate it too much and come out and give him a little shot while he was laying on the ground. That's what created the scrum to start with was after that.
So Coomer, the guilty party there, and a quick shot. Pike underhand, stopped, and it'll be Bergsma now. Bergsma will look and loft it up to Tagore and almost had it nicely. Scooped up. Clayton missed it. St. John right there. Couldn't grab it. And it's Big Rob King now that's going to race away with it and move it on up over the timeline. Drake Smith, 2-on-2, don't have numbers, so he's going to pull it out. 45 seconds left in the man advantage. Paris in the regular season working at a 46% efficiency rate on the power play. Pike again, that underhand stop. And now another big one. And
nice
wow!
Shot.
Wow, Cole Spear, wrong stick side. Found the short side on Coomer. And it's a 5-2 Paris lead.
That's definitely a goal scorer goal. Short side, right on the hand, just inside the post. Definitely a seeing eye shot. You got to know what your stick's doing for sure to pick that one.
I tell you, he put that in he had as little space as possible, probably the width of that rubber ball, and that's it. So the Riverwolves looking awfully good here as the Outlaws jumped out early, but they have since cooled off just a bit. And again, discipline an issue. In this league, if you spend more time in the box, you're probably not going to be very successful.
Yeah, that's any league, any team, any game, really.
You're right. Garland dumps it down inside, wide of the mark for board. It's picked up by Medeiros, and Medeiros will move it up. Burton. Think better of it, dumps it over to Albicus. Albicus now, he'll flip and stay out there on offense. Brandon Porga out there as well. And they work it to Pike over on the left side. He kicks it to Keene. Keene gets a screen, rolls off one check, takes it hard. Good stop by Coomer, doesn't know where it is. Lucky his D backed him up. And now the Outlaws will counter the other way. Ryan Nolan will get over the timeline. Under a minute to go here in the opening quarter, and very careless will send that ball the other way, and Porga jumping into the rush, as is Keene. And they get it to Pike. Pike in alone. Pike, big save by Coomer. Ball loose now, scooped up and moved up by the Outlaws. Gage board. Looking for the trailer. St. John, 2-on-1. Laskowicz. Buried it. So Luke Laskowicz on the board from a beauty feed from John St. John. And the lead's cut now 5-3.
That was a good transition. Got it up the floor quick. St. John drew the double team and left Laskowicz wide open. Paris got caught ball watching a little bit. Wasn't aware who was coming out the door. That's just as important as getting the bodies out the door. You got to recognize who's coming out the door.
Absolutely correct there. And it was funny in the first semifinal when later in the game, when Chris Atwood left the bench early, got the too many men call when the goalie was headed. Boy, I had flashbacks of the game against you guys when he slipped through the back.
Oh yeah, the
there,
side door
there,
there.
and he was gone and got the winning goal. So this time he got caught. So Matt Lee out there. The question with Matt Lee was he had a bit of an allergic reaction last night, and he's playing through it here as he had a tough morning. So beautiful
Nice
shot on the run. So Coomer maybe got caught watching the paint dry. And a big goal from Eddie Renault. And it's 6-3.
Same thing, some shots on the run. Those are hard for any goalie to stop. You got to move. You got to find your net. There's a lot of stuff as a goalie you got to adjust to as they're shooting on the run like that. That's why they're so successful in field lacrosse on them shots on the run across the top like that. The goalie's got to try find his net.
That does make it awfully difficult when you can't see that release point, boy.
Yep.
As a goalie, and you're already moving. Scooped up now by the Outlaws, bouncing off a hit, going with a bounce. Too much bounce on that by McCrory, and that will do it for the first quarter. First 15 minutes in the books. It's the Riverwolves 6, the Outlaws 3.
ALL playoffs, we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs, and we about to
Big
take
save
off.
by Coop. Our viewers out there, of course, with one semifinal in the books, the St Catharines Shockwave will sit pretty till tomorrow, 3 o'clock, and we will have the All-Cup Championship final right here on the JVI Network, of course. It will be the Shockwave against the winner of this game, the Riverwolves or the Outlaws. Make sure you tune in, and, of course, before that, at 12 noon, it'll be the women's final. That will be the Riverwolves and the Shockwave. So we'll see here if Paris can't duplicate the task. It'll be the same two teams in the women's as the men. But I figure that with 3 quarters to go, I imagine the Outlaws will have something to say about that.
There's a lot of game to go, like we've seen in the first game. Tale of two halves, really. So it's just a matter of putting 4 quarters together and making your adjustments as you go and see what happens. Like, it's only 3 goals. 3 goals is nothing in lacrosse to make up.
You're right, and it's funny though how momentum is such a funny thing. Where 1 minute you can do no wrong, and then the next minute you can do no right.
Yep, that's
funny how
that's exactly what happened to us last week. And we had a great first quarter, and it got away from us in the second quarter. So we'll see if Paris can use their legs. That's what they did against us. They were able to transition out and see if they can pull away and widen the gap here.
I thought in your game, I thought this was the thing about your team the entire season. You guys were young, and you kind of got to learn to win. You got to learn to lose, and you got to learn how to play down the stretch and weather certain storms, the peaks and valleys throughout the game. So I thought you did a really good job keeping your guys focused. And I know that wasn't always the easiest thing in the world, right?
No,
That's one of your
sure.
challenges as a coach. So the Outlaws now will set things up, looking for a good start here in the second quarter, like they did in the first. And it'll be McWaters that'll send it down to St. John. St. John looking to curl around, takes a hard hit. Backhand pass looking for Garland. Garland wasn't expecting it. Turnover. And Clayton now will get it to Albacus, and he'll have to hustle to get it over the timeline, and he does. Spear looking for the give and go. Matt Lee, fake,
Nice.
short side. How about Matt Lee shaking things off and finding the back of the net? And the Riverwolves lead this one 7-3.
That was a nice pick and roll. Matt Lee come up, set that hard bump, and then went to the net. Spears able to put that pass right in his stick. That's the biggest thing off a pick and roll is you got to put that pass into his stick. If he's got to reach around to move it or anything, he's going to be in trouble. He ain't going to be able to get the shot off mostly.
Well, he
That
for
was
sure
nice
has a
pass.
defender right on him. So, yeah, you got to make sure. Well, and that's the thing on the screen and roll. To have the results you want, 2 things have to happen, and that's the pass and the catch. So you're 100% on that, but that's why you're coaching. So that's why Got you here, all right, for your insight. DeBrone will peel out, curl around, get it back over to Bergsma. Bergsma will remain on offense, gets it to St. John. St. John will wait for Laskowicz, gets it to him. Laskowicz now will bring it over to right side. Luke Laskowicz looking for an opening, curls around, big shot.
Nice shot.
So you leave him open and give him an inch, and he's for sure going to find the back of the net. That is his second of the game, and it's 7-4.
Same thing, except there's no roll there. Just a nice pick and screen. He come around, opened himself up, got a nice shot off, put it right under the glove. That's any goalie's weak spot, no matter who it is. If you put it under his glove, it's going in the net.
Laskowicz, of course, the leader in goals with 36 this season in the Arena Lacrosse League. Chris Atwood with 35, a very close second. Laskowicz also the leader in power play markers with 15. So definitely a bona fide goal scorer is Luke Laskowicz, and the Outlaws now with a little momentum here have possession working in the offensive end. Laskowicz will swing it around, and it'll be Gilray to kick it back to St. John. They'll swing it over left side. Give and go, good stick check, forced a loose ball. Laskowicz will pick it up under 10 on the shot clock, get it down. Gilray swings it over St. John, back to Gilray, quick shot, and it trickles in. So there was a prime example of outstanding passing, and a good job to sneak that one through the wickets of Clayton, and it's 7-5.
Same thing. He's got the ball moving, caught the goalie moving as he cut through the middle. Nice little give and go.
So Josh Gilray with his first of the game gives St. John another assist. The supreme facilitator, and it's just a 2-goal deficit now. And off the draw, here come the Outlaws. DeBrone. Almost an instant replay of the first play of the game. Collision there, Laskowicz. Tangled up there with,
there it is,
with Porga, I believe it is, and I will have to double check who that is. And that is Drew Quinlan. So Quinlan, the outstanding fastball player, is going to spend 2 minutes in the box when shot clock winds down. St. John, a bullet rebound as shot clock will expire. And it will be another power play opportunity for the Outlaws.
He had him wide open in front there. Everybody spread out, like found his 51 there, wiggled his way in there. He was wide open.
Well, I know for sure that the things that we see up here are a little different than the things that you see there on floor level. I mean, often I pick, why didn't he go there, do that, do this? And it's a whole different story when you got a guy on you telling you can't go there. So the Outlaws back to work. Their third power play of the game, 0 for 2. And they've got a bit of momentum here, having reeled off 2 straight. Laskowicz out there, St. John. McNulty, good pass, but Laskowicz not able to convert. And away comes Whitty. Whitty dropped it, and a good job to back him up was Burton. And they get it to Keene. Keene will bull his way in on St. John. Shot, stopped by Coomer. Ball loose. St. John does a good job, moves it to the side, scoops it up. He'll move it up over the timeline and set things up here with 1:20 to go in a man advantage. St. John, McNulty, Garland, Laskowicz, Gilray. Big shot from St. John, stopped by Clayton. Fresh 30, Garland looked like he was teeing something up, gets it back out. Laskowicz, big shot, steered just aside. I thought that Clayton got a bit of a glove on that, and sure enough, that's the call from crew chief Bob Hollingsworth. And it'll be St. John now set things up with 50 seconds to go in a man advantage. St. John, good skip pass, Gilray, skip pass, Garland. Garland shot wide of the mark. Not sure if he was looking for the cutter. And it'll go the length of the carpet, and Josh Medeiros and the Riverwolves will go to work now deep in the offensive end. 41 seconds to kill in the penalty to Quinlan. One-on-one, tried to go to Keene. Lost it, and the Outlaws now in transition. They're going to hustle. They have numbers. Out the back door, St. John. Big shot, stopped by Clayton. So a good attempt there from Ryan McCrory. Wasn't able to get it over to St. John, and here come the Riverwolves in transition now. They'll set things up in the offensive end, work some clock. Renault. He'll hug it, hold it, and kill some time, 10 on the shot clock. And he's hoping to eat up this entire penalty, and a good job on his part with 1 second left. And Quinlan will be out, and the Outlaws now with possession will bring it up. Teams now back at full strength. Creeping in on the 10.5-minute mark here, second quarter. Second semifinal of the day. Shockwave are already in. These two teams now fighting for that one and only spot in the Arena Lacrosse League championship game. Laskowicz through a crowd. Good save by Clayton. That's picked up by St. John. It'll be a fresh clock now for the Outlaws.
That's a good screenshot. Right around 3 different bodies.
Thought that was a good choice, actually. Laskowicz one-on-one. Takes a hack, gets a screen. Good save by Clayton. Back up, scooped up neatly there by Vertoli, and it'll be back out. So possession, give and go, gone and went. Rebound picked up and not able to finish on the play was Vertoli. And out the back doors, Drake Smith. Had it momentarily, took a hit from DeBrone. No call there. DeBrone now will race it back up. They'll get it over the timeline. Paul Jelly. He'll put on the brakes now and dump it off. And here comes Gilray. Gilray working one-on-one, gets another opening. Tried to go 5-hole, stopped by Clayton, and that will take us to our officials' timeout. And not sure, but on these last few possessions, Darcy, I've seen what looks like a deliberate use of a screen for your offensive shooter to try to shoot through.
Yeah, the first half or the first quarter there, Oshawa was just standing around on the outside trying to look for the long shot, but now they're finally moving, getting inside, and it's creating space, and then it's creating that lane for that guy to come around the pick and screen.
Well, that's certainly always it. It's always up to the offensive player to decide if he thinks he's got a good angle or if he's got that opportunity. But sometimes you get a screen and you may aim for that corner, not even worrying about whether or not, just assuming that the goalie can't see. That's all you really care about.
And that's the thing, too, Like, you're taught if the goalie can't see you, you can't, or if you can't see the goalie, he can't see you. So if you can shoot around that screen, a lot of times, too, guys, mostly field players actually that come into the box game, they'll come around and they'll want to keep running around that pick till they're wide open and the goalie can see him again, and then it becomes an easier save for him. Whereas we're always trying to teach him, if you get behind that screen, let it fly behind the screen. Like, put your stick right around the guy's back, shoot right off his back, and put it where you want. It makes it harder for the goalie to see it because he can't see your stick, so he can't read it, and he'll pick it up last second. And 9 out of 10 times also it's going to go in if you hit the net because he don't see it coming out of your stick.
So let me ask you something quickly, because a lot of people ask me this on a regular basis, particularly guys that grew up playing. Is the hidden ball trick a tradition? Because Six Nation teams have always had the ability to do that. And I see now even it's kind of ingrained and instilled in what's done. Listen, you've learned to keep your eye on it because you could get faked out if you take your eye off it. But is that something that you guys teach, or is that something that's learned at an early age?
It's pretty much a backyard play, really, that we've just brought into on the floor. Like, same thing. We've been doing it since I was a kid back in Tyke and Novice, and then same thing, we just teach it to them. The biggest thing when you're doing it is you just got to sell. Whoever don't have the ball's really got to sell that they have it and draw that attention. And the guy with the ball, he's got to pay attention to the goalie. He can't be watching everything else. He's got to be watching to see if the goalie's cheating away. If you can catch him sleeping, then you know you got to shoot the ball, whereas some guys watch each other and then the goalie don't know what's going on. By the time they recognize and shoot it, it's too late.
Well, that's the thing. I've seen the trick work more often than not, I'll tell you that. And a long pass, Pike, in all alone. Goes down low, big save by Coomer. Picked up now and trying to hustle to get it over the timelines, McCrory. He does. Dumps it out. St. John, he's going to take it hard to the net. Good shot, pass. Probably should have taken that shot. And a great job by Roger Nurse to get out of the way. And it's McMahon. Jamie McMahon! The defensive veteran comes through with a big transition goal, and it's 8-5 Riverwolves.
Same thing, another transition goal, quick up the floor. They're looking. Oshawa crashed, looking for a rebound or a loose ball, and Paris has gone up the floor, giving a little shoulder shake and had Coomer drop and put it in the top corner.
Well, it's unfortunate that you have a situation there where you had a man wide open. It was a good pass from St. John looking for that quick stick. But if it's not caught, that carom will take you back the other way, goes into the defensive player, one pass up the floor, and it results in a goal at the other end.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Like I said, that even earlier when Oshawa, Paris killed off their penalty, there was only a couple seconds left.
St. John in tight. Couldn't find the mark.
And then Oshawa took that shot. The ball bounced all the way down, and their guy got the ball and got a shot off it up. So
that's the thing. This game can turn on you in a real hurry. Garland swinging over St. John. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Gets it to McNulty. Back out to Garland. Garland's going to take it. Clayton, a good save.
See, there they go again.
And down the floor, and that's picked up by Laskowicz. That actually was right in his stick. So not the best pass from Rob King. Either way, Garland, he'll take. Good save by Clayton. Clayton had the shoulder going nicely, and again, transition as Brett Albicus now. Working one-on-one, waits out back door, and a beauty job, faking
nice
a better
save
by Coomer. So boy, oh boy, some good goaltending there by Scotty Coomer. Keeping this game close, and it's Keene. Keene will.
That was all he had left, with a stick and a prayer to keep that ball out of the net.
That right. Big shot there from Renault. Sorry, from Spear. And now the Outlaws will get over the timeline. Walker. Gilray. St. John. Good move. Quick shot. Wide of the mark. Takes a hefty hop, and that's going to go over the timeline. Violation. Possession to the Riverwolves, and they'll waste no time going to work. Hunter Angus will get it over now, and Eddie Renault will be very deliberate here as we're under the 6-minute mark, first half. Renault looking for a screen, gets a big one from Pike. Shot goes well wide of the mark. You get a screen from Spencer Pike. I mean, that's going to create some space for you.
It's definitely a big screen coming for you.
Good job. Gilray had an opening. He'll kick it out. Big shot from McWaters on his wrong stick side. It went through the wickets, but up and out of play. Clayton got a piece of that, and it'll be possession to the Outlaws. They'll go back to work one more time. St. John. One fake, quick underhand. That's wide of the mark. Garland had it, but it got knocked out of bounds, and will stay right here. Possession to the Outlaws. St. John looking to turn that corner, gets it back out. McWaters will swing it over to Laskowicz, right side, half boards. Laskowicz one-on-one, goes to the swim once, twice. Curling around, gets a step on the run. Good bounce shot. Clayton right where he should be, makes a save, and sends the outlet away.
Oshawa's got to get back inside. They're settling for outside shots again, and that's what they did in the first quarter. That's why they were in trouble a little bit there for a while.
Renault getting hounded by Bergsman, finds his way through. So Eddie Renault, through a very porous Oshawa defense, has spread the gap now. Riverwolves lead this one 9-5.
Eddie's a big body. You can't swing your stick at him. He's just going to go through you. You got to square up to him and body him out as best as you can. That's where your help comes in, especially on a big body like him. You gotta communicate back there. If you don't, then that's going to be the result. He's just going to push through and put it in.
And you know as well as I do, Darcy, there are some guys in this league that you just don't go one-on-one with. You need some help and assistance, and I would say he's one of them. I think of a Cameron Simpson from Peterborough, another one.
Yeah.
You know, these are guys who they thrive when they have at least two guys on them. That's the way it seems. So Albicus now trying to turn the corner on Tagori, but those two speedsters right there, he'll get it back out, and Keene will reset. 15 on the shot clock. Dan Keene, been awfully quiet here in the early going. Keene now trying to work his way to net. Good flip pass. Matt Lee with a quick stick. Not able to beat Coomer. Possession now to the Outlaws, and they'll race back away, get over the timeline. St. John out the back door. Good bounce pass to Gilray. Gilray keeps it himself. Stopped by Clayton. And the Riverwolves now will go the other way. Gilray. And down and all alone with a chance to bury it was Daniel Wheeler. Not able to find the mark and beat Coomer. And the Outlaws obviously dodge another bullet. And they'll bring it back in the offensive end. Laskowicz. Looking for St. John. That's knocked down. St. John will knock it to himself. Does a good job. Had it and lost it. Does a good job again. That's why he played AAA hockey, as he curls around, and he'll look for someone. Good stick check, but a penalty coming here on the delayed call. It looks like it's going to be Daniel Wheeler. 2 minutes for manhandling, and that will take us to our officials' timeout.
Same thing, just that hard drive. Either going to beat the guy and go to the net, or you're going to draw that penalty.
Well, when you're coaching and you play a team like Oshawa, what's your strategy right away? Are you trying to take the ball out of St. John's hand, Laskowicz's hand? What are you guys thinking as far if you're preparing to meet them in a playoff game?
The biggest thing with them, like, they're going to get the ball, they're going to get their opportunities, is just to limit them or bother them and give them almost a dirty look kind of thing. You can't give them wide open looks. You got to have somebody on them. You got to close the gap, stuff like that, eh? So if you can do that, it limits their chances, takes away a little bit of lanes for their passing. So like St. John, he's almost like Josh Sanderson. He can put a pass into anywhere. If your stick's open, he's going to find it and put it in there. So same thing, you can't sit back and allow him to make that look and make that pass.
I like that analogy. I think that's a very good comparison. Of course, two great players for sure, and Josh Sanderson certainly one of the very best, as the Outlaws now are going to go to work with a man advantage. This their fourth power play of the game. They are 0 for 3. And with 3:34 to go, trailing by 4, probably be a good time right now to find the back of the net some way, shape, or form.
Definitely. They went on a little run, and then Paris got a couple transition goals to open that gap back up again. So they definitely got to start scoring on their power play.
Garland and St. John on the left side. McNulty at the top. Laskowicz, and it looks like McWaters out there on the right side. So McNulty will send it over. Laskowicz will find St. John and get it back. Garland had a notion, pulled it back. Laskowicz will move in, teeters in, pulls it back out, dumps it down low to Gilray. Gilray to Laskowicz. Laskowicz swing it over. Garland looks, dumps it down to McNulty. McNulty, St. John, skip pass. Laskowicz just off the post. And that will go up and into the Paris bench. And possession with 1:29 to go in the power play. And you got to say, Darcy, this certainly looks like a much better power play, at least that possession did, than ones that they've done so far.
Yeah, they're running a different play. They're looking for the lefties off the side. The first two they were running, they were looking for the righty on the backside, and they were missing the pass.
Good job there by Thomas Whitty to move it up to Albicus. Albicus will put on the brakes with just over a minute to go in the penalty. He'll look to kill this 30 seconds, and with 2.5 to go here in the opening half. And if you are the Riverwolves, it's certainly diagrammed just the way you liked it, as that one gets floated into the corner. I think Bergsma thought he had more hops than he did and under-jumped. And it went all the way to the corner, played to Karam nicely, and Cooley brought it up over the timeline. So we'll see here if they decide to go through St. John or here with 30 seconds to go in the man advantage. Gilray, Laskowicz on that right side. St. John will slide over, interchange with Laskowicz, looking for that skip, knocked down. Good defense by the Riverwolves. Got to hurry, shot clock winding down. Laskowicz, that's off the numbers. Scooped up loose. Good job by Gilray. Hustles in there, and he'll give his team another chance. St. John. Laskowicz had all day. That one trickled through the wickets and stayed out. And heads up here transition-wise, and it's a beauty pass lofted just out of the reach of Whitty. And Whitty does a good job taking it hard. Had Tagore all over him. And getting up close and personal with Coomer. And in the meantime, between time, Tagore brings it back. Kicks it back out. Bergsma dumps it down low. McWaters, the finish. So beauty job in transition. An outstanding response from the Outlaws, and they cut it now to 9-6.
That all started on the other end with a nice save by Comer. And then he got tangled up there with the Paris player, and the other Paris player went in to try to help him out, and they opened it up for a transition coming back, a 5-on-3 the other way. Paris was looking for a whistle or a delay to allow their guys to get up the floor, but refs blew it in right away and let them go.
Good job of sharing the ball by the Outlaws. And they're still in this game, of course, with minute 10 to go. DeBrone, 2-on-1 here. DeBrone keeps it himself, stopped by Clayton. And they'll move it up and counter with 33 of their own in Jonah Beam. Beam will move it up. Medeiros looking, and he finds, looks like Spear wide of the mark. Medeiros fighting for it in there. Getting worked over hard by Rob Clofer. Net off the line there, and Coomer certainly didn't help it, and I'm not sure what they're going to call here. That should have been blown down immediately.
It should be a goal. Coomer grabbed the net and pulled it when he come across. He actually pulled the net out of position. I know in the NLL, you got to protect the net no matter which way it's facing, so I imagine it should count, in my opinion.
Well, you're right, and it's not like some defender or an offensive player ran through, grabbed the net, and steered off like it can happen in hockey. This was a case where the only one in that crease area is the goalie. So I would assume that that's a good goal. We're going to check with our official scorer and see what the case is here. And
that's a good heads-up play by Paris, though, to still put it in the net and keep playing. Oshawa kind of hesitated for a second, waiting for a whistle to blow it dead like a hockey play would.
So we'll let you know who the goal scorer is, but it's certainly... He took a look at our replay, and it's a good heads-up play, like you said, Darcy, and I think that was Drake Smith that parked that in the skewed net. So we're going to give Drake Smith credit for the goal because I like him. And
good heads up.
Yeah, you know, see that? Sometimes my good eye works.
Yeah.
Glass one's still a little foggy. Tagore now dumps it back out. Had Bergsma wide open. Couldn't bring that down, and it's Quinlan. Quinlan out there with Beam, and...
Oh, they called timeout. 2-on-1.
2-on-1, and a timeout called, and...
Yeah, one of these guys back here on defense called it.
Not quite sure, as you can see the frustration on Jamie Dubrick's face. And I understand the instruction was probably as soon as we get possession, call a timeout. But if we got a scoring opportunity, you might want to at least let that play through.
Yeah, and same thing, it all depends who has the ball, right? If you know it's somebody who can handle the ball and who can put it in the net off a transition, then for sure let them roll. But if it's, you know, somebody that's got a little bit of stone hands who can't finish, then for sure your best bet would be to call that timeout and get your offense out.
Well, it's funny you say that because that's one of the things, too, that's changed in the game. Now, the offense-defense. Now, before, it didn't make a difference. You had to know how to play defense and offense. So the guys with the stone hands, you could always take advantage because in the offensive end, you know they weren't going to do anything.
Yep.
Now, in the offensive end, everyone can pass and catch and play. They're your highly skilled players. And, you know, on the flip side, you've got your top-notch defenders, usually the big, strong guys that are out there. So tell me something, when you look at the Snipers lineup heading into potentially the offseason and next year, what do you think your team needs most to kind of get you guys playing here on Final Four and with a chance to go to the Cup final?
I think it's just the experience. Like I said, we had a young team, a real young team. A lot of guys that did come back from last season's team were part-time players. They were the guys who would be in if somebody didn't show up kind of deal. So they just needed the experience in the league play. So I think next year, we're the same thing. We're going to be okay. We're going to be in a lot of good tight games again. Hopefully we're on the right side of them 1- and 2-goal games this time.
Got you. Well, you know what? I think you're right. You of any team in the league had the most turnover in the offseason. And it was like you had to field almost a brand new team. And we had spoke about some of the veteran guys as you see the Riverwolves now, a big shot there from...
That's an early shot.
Spear, a real early one, and with 8 seconds, a chance to... And hustling down and getting knocked down on the play interference was Tagore. So good effort there with 3.6 seconds and no chance to get the goalie out there. Empty net. St. John! What a beauty. Spin and finish. put it in that corner. And the league's leading scorer closes the gap to 3 with 1.3 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, that play, I imagine, down Paris's end was not meant to be shot that quickly. Usually when you pull the goalie, you run it down to 2 or 3 seconds before you're even thinking about shooting, just so this stuff like that doesn't happen.
You're absolutely right. Way too much time, and we know in this sport, you only need 2 seconds or 3 seconds to get that ball from one end of the carpet to the other. Sure. That's just 2 quick passes. It can be in the net in a jiffy. So
that was a good heads-up play by Tagore to chase that ball down and get that whistle, right?
Well, I think it was Tagore that made that play, and certainly should get credit for the helper there, as we have played a half here. 30 minutes in the books. 10-7. Riverwolves. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the head coach of the St Catharines Shockwave, Mr. Ron Mouser Henry.
How you doing, sir?
We about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs. And we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs. And we about to
Big
take
save
off.
by Coop.
The Arena Lacrosse League playoffs on the JVI Sports Network.
Hello, we're here at halftime of a 10-7 game in favor of the Riverwolves. Semifinal number 2, semifinal number 1 had the St. Catharines Shockwave advancing to tomorrow's All-Cup final. I'm here with their head coach, Ron Mouser Henry. And Mouser, we can talk about a lot of things, but let's start first with what you guys did in the off-season to change your fate. Last year, not exactly the result you wanted. You came back, had a great regular season, had that bye, dusted off the rust, and you guys put together a solid game. You got to be happy with your team's performance.
Yes, great game. Like I say, came back from, I don't know, we were down 3 goals, 4 goals. We stayed with our system, got our legs underneath us, got the sticks rolling again, came back hard right around the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Start rolling. We're entering the halftime, changed up goalies, went with Chase Martin in the second half. And we just put the ball in the net. We found the net. We chased, I forgot who was in there, Lucas Coop maybe. I don't know who was in there, but we chased him out. Guys just kept buying in, working the ball around, sharing the ball, getting back on D. Defense did their gig, communicated, transitioned the ball, gave Chase Martin some easy outlets, and gave him some easy shots to see from out there.
So then tell me then, because you talk about a drastic change, and we've been talking up here in the booth about that being a tale of 2 games. So we saw you guys in the first half, but the second half, what'd you say at halftime, because you didn't give them a goal or give up a goal for that entire third quarter?
Just everybody, Roger talks, Clancy talks, the guys know what's expected. I thought it was going to be a walk, an easy walk maybe, but they all just talked amongst each other, bought in, and everybody believed with each other. It started, like I say, starts with a face-off, then a defense, just working a ball. And we just bought in, and it's not over. We got one more game tomorrow. We get to play another day, which is great. I love, like I say, working with these guys. They're a great bunch of kids. And, anybody's game now.
Well, I came into your locker room after the game, and I was saying throughout the first half that your floor general out there, Brian Neufeld, couldn't catch a pass, at least not cleanly. Then in the second half, he showed up, and you guys were, adamantly agreeing with that, and I'd say that that's probably a pretty good assessment.
Yeah, really. So we run 8 guys and then we have a great, fantastic transition group that stays out there and helps out. But yeah, Brian Neufeld's been I think he's been steady all year. A lot of assists. He's floor general, as you said. he gets back. Well, he tries to get back, but I can't say much more about that against Brian. But he's there.
You got one more game. You just leave it at that. That's right, exactly. So now you guys have been the only team this season that has done goaltender by committee. Now, tell me about what's the process like when you pick the starter. Do they pick it? Do you pick it? How does that work out?
You know what? I'm not going to, tell everybody our secret on that. But it's very mathematical, what we work on that. And then I roll around the goalies' heads and talk to each one of them. And then they come back with me with how they're feeling. And then we talk with Roger and Clancy. And then we decide who's going to go.
Good, because I'll tell you, I had someone, and I'm not going to mention any names, came up with a very good observation. They said, boy, that Mouser, really, he's pretty laid back, he's pretty quiet. And then they spent a little time close to the bench and may have passed by the change room and said he's a little fired up. So have you found this group to be very responsive to you?
Yeah, yes. You know what? They buy in. They love the game. I love the game. My coaches love the game. I'm going to talk about Dale Henry. He's our equipment guy, jersey guy. He loves the game, and everybody respects him. Everybody just respects everybody in the whole locker room.
So let the guy wear the Hawaiian shirt then.
Yeah,
What is the problem with that? All right, I like the. You guys are one of the best dressed coaching staffs out there.
You know what? Roger leads the way. So
Roger's looking good. He was pretty much in this game here. To wrap things up, good game here. What are your basic assessments of this first half between these two teams?
Scotty Coomer, like you say, he wish he has had a number of goals back. If he steps up, makes some key saves, and John St. John starts to put a few goals in, and they play a little D, it could be anybody's game right now. 10-7, a lot of game left. I'm not counting on anybody yet. So who we play tomorrow, I don't know, and whoever comes our way, we're going to be ready.
Gotcha. Well, listen, thanks very much. Great game today, and we wish you the best of luck tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have a good conversation and taking on whoever you happen to play. Ron Mouser Henry, the winning coach in the semifinal number 1. His team is in tomorrow's All Cup Championship. We'll be back with second half action after a short break.
ALL playoffs, and we about to take off. It's the ALL playoffs. We about to
big save by Coop.
The Arena Lacrosse League playoffs on the JVI Sports Network. The Arena Lacrosse League playoffs on the JVI Sports Network.
Welcome back here as we are almost locked and loaded for the third quarter, and we want to remind all our viewers out there, it's a big championship Sunday tomorrow. It starts off 12 noon with the women's final. It'll be the Riverwolves and the Shockwave, and then at 3 o'clock, it'll be the Shockwave taking on the winner of this game here, and currently 10-7, the Riverwolves lead, and Darcy, an interesting first half to say the least, but it's only a 3-goal deficit for the Outlaws, so it's anybody's game.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, lacrosse, you can score in bunches. It's just a matter of getting on that run. Paris was able to transition up quite a bit. I think half their goals come off a transition, so if they can keep that up, I think they'll be okay. But on offense, Oshawa's got to get moving again. When they had their little run, when they start coming back, closing the gap, they were moving on offense. The ball was moving. Then near the end of the second quarter there, they kind of got stale and start standing still again, settling for the long shot.
Well, it's funny because you and I have had more than our share of discussions throughout the season, and you are very emphatic as you see Laskowitz getting worked over, gets it to St. John, big shot, stopped by Clayton. And you alluded to playing 4 quarters, right, and not taking any off, and how detrimental it can be, and how in this league it's so important. So case in point there, apparently you kind of know what you're talking about on, on an occasion or two, Darce. So good here as St. John now will send it over. Gilray at the top, gets it over. Over the top goes McWaters, picked up by Rob King. He'll try to weave his way through 2, get some help, and it's Albicus. He'll send it to Keene. Keene now. Dan Keene with 1 goal here today as he peels out.
Those Paris long shots are just that you're setting up Oshawa. That's exactly what they want them to do. The goalie's playing out, cutting the angle, and Paris is giving you that long shot. It makes it look like you're open, but that's exactly what they want them to do.
And that's an interesting tactic on the hesitation. Good try. Couldn't sneak that through was Nick Andrioli. And it'll be Albicus now. Doesn't have numbers. He'll wait. Medeiros jumps in rush. Albicus eyed that top corner. Couldn't find the mark. Now DeBrone couldn't haul it in. Didn't matter. That's a violation. As Whitty will have to drop it. DeBrone now. 2-on-1. Quick shot. Clayton right there. So a good save. And McCrory had an opportunity there in close. Whitty now will get over the timeline and look for some assistance. He has Spencer Pike. Pike now will teeter on the left side. Takes a double team, and
nice jump.
They work on the big man for sure. And he slips through. 2. Goes to the net off the post. Bergsma will pick that up and get it picked off. And another chance. Coomer up big again. So Oshawa doing their best Santa Claus impression, trying to give things away. And they come away and will have to go to work on offense, trailing by 3. St. John gets a screen. Had an opening, see if he can turn the corner, loses it, hockeys it to himself, scoops it up, goes to the net. That gets knocked out last minute. Picks up the rebound, gets it back up to the top. McNulty, delayed penalty coming on the play. They get it back. Gage Board had it blocked. Laskowitz will tee it up, dumps it down low, quick stick finish. So Luke Laskowitz faked the shot, found McNulty on the doorstep, and it's a 10-8 game.
And that was part of the way we had success against them also, just like that, drawing that goalie out or looking for that backside or that extra pass in that open net. That was a good read, a good look, and good thing he was ready on the crease for the pass and was able to put it in. There's only a couple seconds left on the shot clock, too. Good heads-up play.
You're not going to get a better pass or an easier goal than McNulty got right there. And see, again, good start to the third quarter, similar to the first, and we'll see if the Outlaws can keep that momentum alive. They have possession right here, and Laskowitz now will retreat to the half boards, get it back out to Bergsma, and he'll swing it out. They'll start the offense. Gilray. Get it over to McWaters. McWaters now will slide over to the top and find Garland. Garland working one-on-one. Will move in on the run. So how about that momentum? Look at that. And That goes right back to what you talked about, Darcy, about shooting on the run and how difficult it is for the goalie to pick that up.
Yeah, for sure. He caught him again, changed the angle of his shot, gave himself that extra step, and opened up on the far side. Put it right along his stick, right along the post.
So a big goal there as Cam Garland is on the score sheet and the goal column for the first time here in this game. And the Riverwolves now seeing their lead dwindle down to just one, and off the draw. Good job there by Bergsma. And DeBrone took a hard hit. Possession will go to Dan Keene and the Riverwolves. Keene will draw the double team now. Good jump there as Bergsma in there battling with Gage Board. They force a turnover, and now they got numbers. Board moving up with Clofer, and Board will pull it back out, and the head of Steves Gilray on the run. That goes off a leg and out of play. And possession will go the other way to Paris.
Thought that hit off the defender's stick and went out, but the ref's seen it otherwise, I guess.
Yeah, not the first time you and the refs haven't seen eye to eye, Mr. Palace. I know that.
we've had our issues.
You've had your conversations for sure. Fresh clock here for the Riverwolves, and it'll be Keene now. So the Outlaws have extended their defense now, pressuring the ball a little more and jumping with that double team, trying to push the Riverwolves further away. Dump down low, Drake Smith can't find the net. Andrioli now will pick it up. He's matched up with Matt Lee, and those are two speedsters there as it goes down now, and the Outlaws will be a little more deliberate here on offense with St. John. Creeping to within one are the Outlaws. St. John has Quinlan on him, gets a screen now, switched off to Matt Lee, one-on-one. St. John going hard on the run again, and that's going to go over the timeline. St. John does a good job, and I don't know if you're going to see a finer tackle than that, not in the NFL. So probably saved at the very least a clear-cut breakaway. And it looks like St. John will head to the penalty box, and he doesn't usually spend a lot of time in there. I know that.
As an offensive player, not too often you do. That's the biggest thing, too. Offensive players, especially on TV, NIL, you're getting paid to take the beating. You got to be able to take that slash, take that call, not retaliate. But that's the same thing. That's a good penalty. That was Lee he was chasing down. If he let Lee get that ball, he was long gone. More than likely, that would have ended up in the net. More
than likely, you're right. So the power play goes to work. Second time, 1-for-1 with a man advantage of the Riverwolves. Pike, one fake, tried to go up top. Coomer, I think, baited him on that. Had a sniff and went to the other side. Coomer, big save. That will take us to our officials' timeout.
Good thing Coomer's 6'8". Otherwise, a shorter goalie, that would have been in the top corner.
He did a good job, and I think Pike thought he had that whole side, that whole lower part, and Coomer said, yeah, okay, you go there, and boom. So much for that. So Outlaws getting the goaltending they need, and that's what's important here when you sort of crept to within a goal, and now you've got to kill that penalty.
Yeah, you need that save, especially on your penalty killing. Your goalie is your best penalty killer, and if he's able to pull one or two of those out, keep his team in the game, keep it close, then we're going to be in for a good finish here.
Well, I know sometimes the expectations on the goaltenders is a little hard. Sometimes, it's what we classify as not a strong goal or, something along those lines. The pressure's always on them. But I don't know if you agree with me. It's awfully hard to win a championship in any team sport without good goaltending.
Sure. My boy's a goalie in hockey and lacrosse, and same thing. Like I imagine these guys are told the same thing when they were growing up. Save the ones you're supposed to, save a couple you're not, and hope for the best, and see if we can go from there. And that's the biggest thing, right? Like players know, especially when you get comfortable with your goal, the saves he's capable of making. So if he's able to do that, or if he lets in this couple squeakers that oh man, he should have had that one, then that kind of changes the attitude of the team.
Well, I'm sure you're the dad that's at whatever end your kid is in net at, and I'm sure that's the case. And good that he's getting some good guidance there as back to work on a power play go the Riverwolves. Big shot there by Renault. That'll be crease ball, possession to Gage Board and the Outlaws, and they send the outlet, and it's Tagore. Tagore will flip it off, and Gilray now will try and work some clock with minute 5 to go in the penalty. He gets double teamed in there. DeBrone working him over, as is Albicus. They forced a turnover, and now the Riverwolves will get a chance. No numbers, so they will set things up, and it's Cole Spear. Spear has 3 goals here in this game. He's been instrumental here for the Riverwolves. Keene, kick it back over. Pike, dump it down low. Renault, back to Keene. Good save by Coomer. Rebound. Jake Smith tried to tuck it in far side. Big rebound. Good save by Coomer. Rebound now, and it's Tagori. Tagori bounces off a couple checks. He's got numbers. The Outlaws coming. 3-on-1. Dump off. Gage board. Up, down, no. Good save by Clayton. Ball loose in the corner. Keene there to try to fish that out. Instead, it's Ryan Nolan, had it momentarily, and here come the Riverwolves winning the battles to the loose balls.
Going back to what you said about Spears like playing here, he was very instrumental in Allura beating out the Rebels last year in the Ontario West final. He had 5 goals in Game 5.
So a difference maker for sure, as takes a hard check, gets a Drake Smith not even looking, tried to double pump, did Medeiros. Tell you, that would have been awfully impressive anyhow on the basketball court. Not able to convert here on the carpet, and it's the Outlaws now in the offensive end.
I think if he had a one-time night, he would have had him. Comer was playing way out, cutting his angle out, and wasn't expecting that backdoor pass.
Sometimes making things a little more difficult than they should be. McWaters gets it over Garland, trying to quick stick. Good job by Clayton. St. John will pick it up. Fresh clock here for the Outlaws. McNulty. Swing it back out to the top, and McWaters. McWaters gets a screen from Laskowicz, looking to dump that off. Tries a sneaky shot wide of the mark. St. John's going to hustle, try to play that carom, and he does. Great job by St. John. And wide open there, he finds Laskowicz creeping in. Good job by Clayton to close that short side right off. Garland, a good job to hustle to get on that ball. Bumps off Rob King. 2 guys certainly with no shortage of height out there. And a fresh clock here for the Outlaws. McNulty with McMahon on him. Swings the pass. Laskowicz gets a late screen. Bounce shot. Good job. Pad save made by Clayton. And he'll smother that. Flip it to McMahon, and the Riverwolves will try to move it up. Almost at the 6.5-minute mark. Keene trying to hook, go around. He gets knocked down by a couple defenders. Good job there. Andrioli fighting for it, and away come the Outlaws. Aaron Walker gets knocked down. No call on the play. And it'll be Andrioli. 1-on-1 with Matt Lee. Andrioli. Good help from Brandon Porga. Swing it out. St. John. Laskowicz on the curl. Good save by Clayton. Rebound picked up by the Outlaws. They'll get another fresh clock. So possession certainly favoring the Outlaws here in this third quarter. And St. John now with Albicus on him. He'll bounce off, reset, get it out to McNulty. McNulty to Laskowicz. Laskowicz goes underneath, beats his man wide of the mark. And now it's a transition opportunity. Drew Quinlan, long strides. He's going to go in alone. Quinlan off the post. Porga couldn't play the carom right. It's picked up, and Tagori now will get it over the timeline. Quinlan comes racing back to chase him and hound him.
Oshawa got lucky on that one. Their guy got tripped up by the turf monster coming out the door.
Wide open, Garland goes to the switch side. So Cam Garland ties this game 10-10.
That's just the way some bounces go. Off one post and then the net down the other end.
Garland's second of the game couldn't have come at a more opportune time, and we knew that these two teams were pretty evenly matched coming in, and the score is certainly indicative of that here right now.
It was just a nice simple give and go off the wing. He just kept running down the middle and outbeat his defender to the dots and was able to finish it off when he got the pass back.
Bergsma, it's McMahon this time that wins that. Albicus with a great fake. He's going to create a 2-on-1 situation. It gets knocked out of his stick. Gage board, good job on the back check. He'll get it, and he'll try to lug it up over the timeline, and he does. So good play there by Gage Board. And he'll get it now down to Laskowicz, who will swing it to the top in Gilray. McNulty will wait on St. John. He'll set things up at the top. St. John fakes one, goes to the bounce, stopped by Clayton, rebound, not able to corral that. That's scooped up and moved up by Marcus Minicello. Minicello, it's a good job in transition, go to the net, good flip back and trying to squeak that through, and certainly no love lost in the meantime. Between time, a break for the Outlaws. Go and run, missed the whole entire net. And that was Paul Jelly, too many men, and we may have a penalty shot here. As we'll have to see what. So we certainly have a too many men call at the very least. That's going to send the in-home Matt Lee to the box. The question will be, does that result in a penalty shot? And in a 10-10 game with 4:17 to go here in the semifinal.
I believe the penalty shot is just in the last 2 minutes of the final, last 2 minutes of the game.
That might be the case here, as it's a very lengthy discussion as Albicus and McCrory will have a discussion with Crew Chief Bob Hollingsworth.
They're probably questioning why they had a little scrum down here, why it wasn't blown dead, or probably why neither one of them guys had a penalty beforehand.
That certainly might be the case for sure, and I'm going to assume that this has rolled right into the officials' timeout, as that is, we're talking about there being a lengthy discussion, but it's just a break. So, but again, that is going to result in a too many men call, so no penalty shot, but another power play opportunity for the Outlaws, their fifth of the game. And they're currently 0 for 4 with a man advantage. And you know, Darcy, how important it is to take advantage of whatever opportunities you get.
Sure, like they've given up 2 shorthanded goals, so that in the end that might be the difference. They go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6, whatever, on their power play. But if you're giving up shorthanded goals, those are usually the backbreakers.
Put you in the minus column as Laskowicz will quarterback the set, at least at the start, working out there with McWaters and Gilray on the right side, St. John and McNulty on the left. Round the horn, of course, give everyone a touch. Heads up McNulty, good little dump pass. Laskowicz wrong side. McWaters takes that shot, stopped by Clayton. And Clayton now will get it to Albicus. Albicus with a good pass. Hits Burton in stride. Burton now will find Keene. Keene try to find his way past Taguri. He flips it back to Burton. Burton now will work some clock with 1:25 to go in a penalty. Third quarter action, Lance Wynn alongside Darcy Powless. Glad you've joined us, and still getting a shot off was Burton. Not a very good one, and it'll be Andrioli now that'll counter the other way.
Those kind of shots are okay as long as it's near the end of the shot clock and you're not forcing anything. So it's a good underneath take. The ball's 180 feet away from your own end, so that's okay. But if you do that early on in the shot clock, then you're in trouble. Imagine you would hear it from the coach when you got back to the bench.
You'd certainly have something to say, I'm sure. As St. John now to top. Tees that up right off the logo. Ball loose in the slot. Scooped up and moved up to Albicus. Almost had it in the pocket. McNulty, though, right back there, and McNulty will move it up. Chance here for the Outlaws as good transition defense from the Riverwolves as they're back in time here to set up that box with 30 seconds to go in the penalty. Laskowicz, big shot again, working that Riverwolves logo right on the chest of Clayton. And now they will do a good quick 1-2 pass, get it over the timeline. Now they have numbers, 2-on-1. Quinlan will get it over. Beauty shot and finish from Cole Spear. My bad, Eddie Renault, as Renault parks his second of the game. And the Riverwolves take an 11-10 lead.
Another shorthanded marker. They're standing on the outside again on offense for Oshawa. Like I said, they're playing right into Paris's hand. That's exactly what Paris wants them to do. Take that shot or like you said, working the logo, and they're just breaking out. They ain't doing nothing special, nothing fancy. They're just keeping it simple. And said Oshawa settling for that long outside shot, and unfortunately they got burned on that one.
And I tell you, if you look at the quality of the goaltending in the league, pretty much every goalie can make that save and send a good outlet pass to your guys. They can all pass that ball. So you have to be leery of that when you're taking those shots. At the very least, make it a little difficult for him so that he can't just pop and corral it and move it up. So the penalty over now. Teens back at 5 aside. Outlaws now trailing by a goal. St. John will get it to Garland. That pass gets ricocheted, deflected off the screen with 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Travis Burton over there letting his presence felt as St. John will send it over to Gilray and get it back. St. John tries to squeeze through two. Good flip to Garland. Garland wide of the mark. That will go carry him around the corner glass and right to McWaters.
I think he caught the post on that.
Big shot. That's stopped. Not the best angle for sure. As shot selection a bit of a question here, and the Riverwolves now will trot over the timeline and set things up. Borga will swing it over to Pike. Pike, good fake, can't shed it, dumps it down low. That ball to Spear in the middle, picked up by Porga. Porga not able to park it. Good save by Coomer. And an interference call will give the Outlaws the ball, and Gage Board will move it up over the timeline. Creeping in on the final minute here of the third quarter. St. John. Get that over. Laskowicz now looking for an opening, and that's going to be an illegal screen. Possession now the other way to the Riverwolves. We're under a minute to go now, and Paris looking to regain that 2-goal cushion. Keene with the Brone on him, kicks it back out to Smith. Smith back to Keene. Keene looking for that screen from Smith. 10 on the shot clock. Keene fakes a dump and
missed him.
Smith didn't realize he was a little more open than he thought, and now it's a race as Taguri's going to try and hustle that over the timeline as we are into 15 seconds on the game clock. Coomer's going to rush to the net. They're going to play for the final shot under 10 now. St. John's going to have to go to work quick. He's waiting, taking a long time to develop here. 5. Give and go. McWaters can execute, and they do not get a shot off as there are 3 quarters in the books. The score, the Riverwolves 11, the Outlaws 10.
We're in for a good finish.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Oshawa did a good job at the start to come back, but then, like I said, they just offense kind of went dormant, settled for that long outside shot, and the goalie's just eating them up. And on a transition team, you're basically starting their transition for them. If you're firing them kind of shots into the goalie, it's just an easy save and easy pickup for him to go.
Well, you tell me then, what's your conversation first with the Outlaws? You're trailing by a goal heading into the fourth quarter. What is your words of wisdom?
Just get them back into, just remind them how we scored to tie the game back up, what we did to get back into it. We were cutting, we were moving the ball well, and then now we just kind of start standing still again. So we got to get back to moving the ball, letting the ball do the work. So.
And now if you're on the Paris side and you're Jamie Dubrick, although you need to gain a few and probably put a few more inches on, but it still puts you in the ballpark of cool guys, so we're good. What's your conversation with your team right now?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, they're transitioning well. They're limiting Lazowick's and St. John's shots. They're making them shoot from long outside shots, and that's what you want. They're bothering them. They're getting clean, open looks. So I wouldn't change too much if I were Paris. I'd just keep it rolling. Offensively, they're moving the ball well also. Like you seen right at the end there, he was open, but like you said, he didn't think he was that open. So he kind of tyrannosaured the ball a little bit. He kind of expected to take a hit, but he was open, so I wouldn't change too much if I was Paris.
The words of wisdom, of course, from the Snipers head coach as we take a quick look through the scoring summary with the Outlaws. You've got the league's leading scorer, John St. John, has a goal, and these are just goals. McWaters has also chipped in, as has Taguri, Gilray. Laskowicz has 2, Garland 2, and McNulty 2. You flip the side over to the Riverwolves. Jamie McMahon has himself a goal. Spear with 3. Eddie Renault's got 2, including a shorthanded marker. Dan Keene with just 1. You got Drake Smith and Matt Lee with the solos, as well as Marcus Minicello and Thomas Whitty. So, again, like you said, 2 shorthanded goals. Boy, that's some momentum there. And I tell you, actually, I'm getting from our official statistician 3 shorthanded goals. So I'm going to have to check my counter and make sure that it's right. But either way, we are in the final 15 minutes, and we expect it's going to be a good one. And I tell you, if you're watching, whoever you're cheering for, you got to be biting a nail or 2 right here, right now, as the Outlaws will try to work it in transition. Bring it up over the timeline, trying to move it up, looking to St. John. That's stopped by Clayton. Rebound picked up and moved up, and a lob pass there to Minicello. Finds the marks, got Keene with him. Wrong stick side, gets Keene. Keene, 1 fake, 2 fake. Big save by Coomer. Scooped up now, and here come the Outlaws, and it's Andrioli. He gets it to Laskowicz. Laskowicz waits for the rest, or doesn't. Takes a bounce shot. That's wide of the mark. Bailed out there by Gilray. He gets it over to St. John. No reset on the clock. Creeping in on 10 on the shot clock. Laskowicz, half boards. Right side. Kicks it back to the top. Gilray. Laskowicz. 2 on the shot clock. Need a shot. Dump off. Too much time. Poor execution offensively. And the Riverwolves now will bring it the other way. Albicus with Walker on him. 1 hop. Good job by Keene to smother that short hop. And Correll, he's out there with Spear and Drake Smith on the right side. Eddie Renault now. Under 10 on the shot clock. Renault trying to turn the corner. Has Pike with him. Renault leans in. Tries to switch it, and Coomer caught way back in his net, creased the call. And you got to give me your take on that there, Darcy. I'm not sure. Did he touch the crease or not?
That looked like it was out of his stick before he touched the line. That was a good shot either way, but I think if that was a non-goal, and Oshawa dodged the bullet there.
You are right, as Laskowicz now will dump it off. Gilray, 1-2, beauty finish. So how about Josh Gilray? Step up, young man. A nice goal, his second of the game, and we're all tied at 11.
Finally got some offensive movement going down there. They were able to come around that screen, cut through the middle. Nice simple ball swing, and he was able to get inside and get a better shot. That's a lot better shot than probably their last 5 or 6 shots that Oshawa has had on net.
So Josh Gilray, just what the doctor ordered, of course, here to tie things up, and expect things to get pretty hairy down the stretch here, as a hard hit taken off the draw. Renault laid it out, and DeBrone now with it. He'll find St. John out the back door. St. John 1-on-1. Has Whitty on him. He'll kick it back out. Gilray will swing it around right side. Laskowicz. Laskowicz, good fake. Blows by 1 defender, 2 defenders. Up, down! Luke Laskowicz! Boy, oh boy, you talk about momentum. Luke Laskowicz with his 3rd of the game, and it's a 12-11 lead for the Outlaws.
Find a little movement inside, finally cutting through the middle. You're going to have to take a beating, especially if you're in a semifinal game. They ain't going to give you nothing easy. That was a good take. Paris slacked off a little bit on defense. A couple stick swings, and big body like Laskowicz just runs through those and finishes it.
Well, we knew that we were going to crown a new champ here in the Arena Lacrosse League when the Whitby Steelhawks were eliminated. And it was brought to my attention that the All Cup has resided in the Durham region for the 2 years of its existence, and some people want to bring it to the west side, so we'll see if the Outlaws have something else to say about that. Leading this one now 12-11 with possession. Gilray, Garland trying to use the defender as a screen. That's going to go over the timeline, and Instead of staying there, offensive Laskowicz will peel off and head to the bench. Albicus now will kickstart the offense here for the Riverwolves. Lee will come up, move to the top. He'll wait for Renault, has Porg out there as well, gets it over to Pike. Pike. Big
Nice
shot,
shot.
Spencer
Oh.
Pike. Where have you been? Here right now, Spencer Pike on the board. We're all tied at 12.
That was an absolute rocket. Right down the post, right on the elbow. That's almost a perfect long shot if you're going to take one.
That's Pike's first of the game. He had a big one against you guys last week, that's for sure. I think he parked 5.
Yep. He played good against us all season long. He was good for 2 or 3.
He did.
games.
Between him and Keene, I know they
Keene killed us.
they made your life difficult for sure, but if it's any consolation, Ron Henry said that the one team he didn't want to play in the playoffs was you guys. So if that makes you feel any better, okay, know that your reputation precedes you for sure.
We're still the one behind the one so far on that St. Catharines side.
You are, that's true, as St. John picks up the rebound, switch side, stopped by Clayton. He's got it in his pad, I believe, and Riverwolves now will get a chance to move it up with Drew Quinlan. Albicus out the backdoor spear. That's deflected by Bergsma. Good defensive play. And getting ahead of steam and moving it up are the Outlaws. Walker. Good hesitation as Quinlan has him shadowed. And he'll get it to McWaters. Waters looking for a screen. Hard pass. St. John does a good job. Knocked down, has an opening. St. John squeaks it through. So John St. John with his second of the game. And it's a timely one. 13-12 roller coaster ride we go.
The way it looks like it's going to be. It's the way it's been all game. Nobody's given up. Nobody's gone away. So I think we're going to be like this right till the end, exchanging goals. He was able to squeak that one through 5-0. Had the spin on there. Didn't hit him in the logo, so that's usually what happens.
The Outlaws brought their mascot here and a good fan base, and certainly getting the crowd all hyped up is Matty Pickles. In the circle. Picked up by McMahon. McMahon now has numbers. McMahon now will, with board on him, will peel out, and they'll wait for the offense to come on as we're 10.5 here left in this fourth quarter. Outlaws with a 1-goal lead. Renault. Smith tried to tuck that one in. Sometimes he tries those quick release shots. And now it's moved up over the timeline. Outlaws will set. Rob King pressuring the O. And it's McWaters. King will slap and retreat. McWaters now looking for an opening, gets it out to St. John. McNulty. Laskowicz goes under, comes around, looking to turn the corner, kicks it back up. McNulty from way out. That actually went off a foot. So Clayton had to make a good save on that. And now it will be brought up by Burton. Pike on his wrong stick side will have to work, get over to the left side, trying to turn the corner. Gets set in that shooter spot. Porgo swing it over to Keene. Keene will attack. Underhand, stopped by Coomer. Ball loose. Matt Lee tried to scoop it up behind the back. Tucked that rebound in. Unfortunately, no go there. And the Outlaws now have it over the timeline. They'll set things up.
Matt Lee scored line like that against us. Same play. Loose ball. He just grabbed it and threw it behind his back and ended up bouncing in.
Very quick hands for sure. St. John, a Gilray backhand save by Clayton. And Albicus takes a healthy slash, no call on the play. And the Outlaws now with a fresh clock to work with. McNulty, give and go. Garland, well over the net. And that's going to take us to our officials' timeout as the Outlaws clinging to a 1-goal lead here with 8:39 to go, and getting a little tense here, Darce, as we're getting ready to head to money time.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, this is crunch time. This is where you're, like I said, both teams said in their notes before the game that it's going to come down to whose biggest players step up to do their job, right? And St. John's been feeding the ball well. He's been hitting them guys on that give and go. It's about their third or fourth opportunity they've had just off of that simple give and go. Paris gets spread out a little too wide, and that opens up that middle. Their success so far has been keeping it tight and making them shoot them outside shots. Whereas if they get opened up, then that's what's going to happen. St. John will be able to find them guys.
Well, St. John's the supreme facilitator, and I know he's got 2 goals. I'm trying to find out how many assists he's got as well, and that would be 5. So currently a 7-point outing, averaging 6.1 a game during the regular season. Oh, and you say that because when you come down to crunch time, those are the guys that you're going to rely on to be the primary decision makers.
For sure. Like I said, he's smart enough with the ball. He's going to find whatever guys are getting open, whether it's a lefty or a righty. Lately, it's been that righty off that give and go, ringing that swing pass, and that guy cuts to the wide open to the net. And he's been finding Lazowicz on the backside, so eventually I think he's going to hit Lazowicz for a one-timer into an empty net.
Well, speaking of which, I certainly have to send a shout-out to my favorite player in the league, and that's your number 66, Vern Hill. He's my guy, I won't lie. I just like his game and the way he plays, and Outlaws now seem to have the momentum as Andrioli takes it himself, blocked, and a good play there defensively by Minicello, and he'll move it up. And it's Renault. Renault will leg it up. Renault takes it to the iron. Stopped by Coomer. Picked up by the Outlaws, and it's Gage Board. He'll move it up. They got numbers. Heads up on the back door. St. John right there. And they'll slow things up, be a little more deliberate. We're under 8 minutes here. 4th quarter. Semifinal number 2. A ticket to tomorrow's final on the line. Laskowitz has Albicus all over him like a jersey. Over to St. John to McNulty. McNulty from a tough angle had to beat the shot clock. Saved by Clayton. And now it'll get legged up and moved up by the Riverwolves.
Almost in a situation like that, you'd almost be better off rolling the ball in the corner. Because like I said, if you're hitting a goalie in the belly, that's just starting their breakout for them. You could have a guy breaking up the floor, you're rolling it into his belly, and away they go the other way. Better off just eating it, hold it right till 1, and then dump it in the corner, give your D a chance to recover and get out on the floor.
Drake Smith with a sidearm knuckleball, and that pass from Coomer goes over the head of Bergsma, and it'll be retrieved by McMahon. So know that Jamie McMahon, of course, is the brother of Cody McMahon, who plays for the Steelhawks. So both brothers in action here today as a tough shot. So Matt Lee using the screen and the disguise, and we're all tied at 13.
It caught Comer unsettled there, short side bouncer. Nice. It was a nice shot. Same thing, got to know what your stick's going to do, and he was able to pull it back short side. He does have a good stick. He honestly reminds me of Little Vern's dad. When we used to play, he would pull shots out of his stick like that. Never know where they were coming from or where they were going. But
really? So
yeah.
that's where Tricky gets that, eh?
Yeah.
Because that kid is definitely slippery when wet, I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some moves and some fakes, and that's why he's such a pleasure to watch and very creative, and that's a good thing. McNulty now. He'll kick it back out to Laskowicz. He'll swing it around to Gilray. Gilray looking for the quick stick to Garland. He can't finish. That's picked up now by Burton. Burton now will head man to Quinlan. Quinlan not able to field it cleanly, hustles to it. Has a man on him. Battle continues here on the boards. Neutral zone. It's flipped up. Over and back could be.
Yeah, that was over and back.
Whitty now took a step, and that will be a violation. Possession to the Outlaws with 6:19 to go. Boy, oh boy, it's got to be tense here if you're an Outlaw fan or a Riverwolves fan. St. John looking for an opening, big shot wide of the mark. Laskowicz does a good job, tracks it down, lofts it in the corner.
Still had 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
Had plenty of time on the shot clock, and instead, though, here comes Whitty. Whitty, 2-on-1. Whitty shot, blocked. Good job by Bergsma. Rebound picked up by Keene. No reset. Keene, swim move to come back the other way, switch hands. Bounces off a check, and another, and kicks it back out. Porga, 10 on the shot clock. Smith Renault couldn't pull the trigger. Double team, gets knocked down, coughs it up. Outlaws force a turnover. Here they come in transition. Board. He'll peel out and get it over to St. John. St. John now will slow things down here. Tie game, 5:12 to go. Someone is going to tomorrow's final, someone is not. That goes off a defender, and Jonah Beam still has it. Getting hacked down by Gilroy. Beam, 2-on-1 now. Keeps it himself, Jonah Beam. Short side on Coomer in transition, 14-13 Riverwolves.
Not too often you look off a guy that's got 3 goals in a game already, but that was a smart hold, smart play. Gave him that little fake look on that pass and made Comer think for a second before he shot. So.
And a good finish there, and not expected. Jonah Beam, of course, but you know what? In these kind of games, Darcy, and as you know, sometimes it's the X factor that makes the difference. Your top guys may either not do anything or do what they do, but where does that extra goal scoring come from?
Yep.
Someone's got to step up sometime.
For sure. Is it going to be a transition guy or, like you said, like a man up, man down goal? Like all that little things make a huge difference at the end of the game. And right now, them 3 shorthanded goals by Paris are looking good.
Looming awfully large here as Renault will carry it. He takes a hit, bounces off, tries to go underneath, crease the call, and that will take us to our final officials timeout. So with 4:33 to go, this is still, Darcy, anybody's game.
Sure, it's been end to end. It's been an exciting game to watch, an exciting game to be here, especially up from this angle. Usually I sit down in a corner with my family, but it's just me here today, so being up here, seeing it from this angle is a completely different thing. And like you said, like we see things differently from up here than what we see from the bench, and also from the bench to what the players see on the floor, right? It's 3 different views, 3 different angles. So even that, like when we're talking to the players, we try to tell them, like, this is what we're seeing from here. Have a look for this, have a look for that. So just a different angle changes a lot, too.
Absolutely, and that's the perspective. And a lot of times when there are some controversial things that happen, you want to go to get a perspective from each person to see what they've seen that you might be able to miss. And that's, it's tough when you're coaching and you're behind that bench. If you're doing some coaching, you're not watching the play the entire time. No. So you got to take your eye off it sometime. And in this game, you blink, you could miss something, just like that. So I think very important, and you're right about the perspective of things. And I think that's just the way it goes. Like I say, it's always easy for us to sit up here and, we can comment on this and say the referee missed that and so on. But different when you're on floor level and the guys are racing up and down like that. So.
Sure. A lot of times, like when we do ask the refs about a call or something, we'll ask them to ask their partner because, like you said, like it's a different angle. They're seeing it from a different section of the floor. So they could have 2 different opinions. And then once they talk about it, then at least talk about it and give us a different thought on the process anyways and see what he thinks. So.
Absolutely, as St. John now will bring it up. Has an opening and dumps it off. McNulty now. Send it behind the net. Curling around. Gilray kicks it back out to Garland. Garland to St. John. St. John goes through 2, hits a hard hit. Backhand try. Wide of the mark. Ball loose. Picked up by McMahon. McMahon will get it over the timeline and I'm sure put on the brakes. And that's the case there as Pike now. Pike, hesitation move, has Taguri on him. Going to take more than that to shed the speedy Taguri, and he gets it over to Keene. Keene, Lee, Pike couldn't field it, and Taguri was almost off to the races. He gets some backup, though. Here come the Outlaws in transition. Nolan. Very deliberate. We're creeping in on 3.5 to go here. 1-goal game. Riverwolves leading. Outlaws threatening. Laskowicz, wrong stick side. Save made by Clayton. And Medeiros now will move it on up.
Laskowicz shot the same spot pretty much all game, and he's got to change it up. Clayton's pretty much already down on his knee blocking that low angle shot. So I think if he winds up underhand and brings it up to the top corner, I think it'll go in. But like I said, he's just reading it. He's just matching stick on stick and going with what he's seeing. So
good observation as Spear gets taken down, and the Outlaws now off to the races. They have numbers. They'll head man, send it up, and Wait for St. John out the back door. St. John with a man to beat. Curls around, stop, gets a screen, tries to tuck it wide of the mark. That's going to go up, and a good job to track it down. And that's Rob Clofer. And he gets it to McWaters. Big shot underhand from Garland. That's right on the pads. Good save by Clayton. And Clayton now will send away King. King, about 3 strides. He's over that timeline. He's going to park it, wait for a flip and retreat. Almost caught the back end of that line. Got that nicely. Keene ran into a wall. Bounced off it.
Got to move it.
Good hit by Jelly. Give and go. Dan Keene, good save by Coomer. Man, oh man, you talk about creativity. Almost parked that. Coomer had to make a great save, and it's loose. Jelly. Racing down. He picks it up, gets it to Laskowicz. We're under 2 minutes now to play here. Outlaws need a goal. Gilray.
Paris got to be smarter with the ball now. You can't be putting yourself in them double team situations. You got to be smarter with it. Start chewing up the clock, and you need at least one more just to make sure at this point in the game. But
time is on their side for sure. Shot clock winding down, and that'll be a violation. Possession to the Riverwolves, and they'll waste no time with Drew Quinlan on the inbounds. He'll get that over in Renault. We'll see here if they're a little more deliberate as they need to work some clock. Pike. 1 goal in box lacrosse, never near enough. Renault looking for an opening, lets the clock wind down. They're at 10 on the shot clock. Smith coughed it up. Taguri now going to put on the Jets. He has a step. Taguri, nice big save by Clayton. Rebound. Smith battling in there. He loses the battle. Interference going to be called on the play, or
call timeout.
Timeout called. So good effort there and a potential game saver.
That was a big save.
One from Coomer at that end, and then at the other end with Nolan Clayton. And boy, oh boy, with 57 seconds to go here. So who do you go to? You're Steve McCarthy. And don't let me do it, because I'm okay with Stevie boy. But you tell me what is the play, and you can see Steve Toll diagramming that play. Who are you going to? Who's your money man here?
I still think it's funny that Toll's drawing up plays. I don't think that guy's played real offense ever in his career. He's always a tranny guy in defense.
He's a tranny guy waiting to take the breakaway pass. Yeah. I know. We used to watch Speed and Stevie. I know.
Played against him when I played up in Akwesasne. He played for Brooklyn, and same thing. He was gone. He was a smart player. He knew when to take off. He knew, like Vern, same thing. He would read the play. Shot clock would start getting down. He would cheat up, and then bang, he's gone. But on this same thing, I think they're gonna give it to St. John, and then try to look for Lazarus coming around that backside. I think he's gonna hit him on the crease. Like I said, they're eating up the top shots, and that's exactly what they want. So they got to get that ball down low and work it off the side.
Well, I'd have to agree with you. When you look, you had St. John with 79 points, Laskowicz was 66, and Laskowicz, of course, the leading goal scorer in the league. So you have to figure that things will go through St. John with potentially ending on the stick of Laskowicz at some point in time. But again, you can diagram it all you want. Net empty at the other end, and they're going to do an interchange. Laskowicz is going to curl around, dumps it McNulty. McNulty now will get it back out. Laskowicz wrong side, dumps down low. Looking for it in traffic, St. John's. He takes 2 hard hits, and he's down on the play, and a timeout called, I believe, by the Riverwolves, as there's definitely a stoppage in play, and St. John didn't have a second to react on that. They immediately jumped him.
Yeah, they held their position. They waited for them to get the ball, and then they attacked. A lot of times when they get bodies moving around like how they were, guys will start panicking, chase out of position, and then that's how somebody gets open. Well, Paris did well. They held their zone and waited for their time to go. Well,
we talked about going through St. John and Laskowicz, and clearly that's what they tried to do. You have to figure, though, if you're Jamie Dubrick, that's exactly what you're telling your D, that those are the 2 guys you're probably going to have to key on.
For sure. Like something like that, you want to limit, like I said, limit their opportunities. Make somebody else beat you. Don't get beat by these guys, because you know that they're going to shot. Or make somebody else step up. See if one of their other guys can step up.
And I think that's a good idea, especially at this juncture of the game. A lot of pressure, so it'll be interesting to see. So 42.6 seconds to go here. And possession to the Riverwolves. So Tagore is going to forecheck. And the Outlaws now are going to match up on a tight man-to-man here and try to, at the very least, force a turnover. So that would give them 12 seconds to go to work if they're able to hold this possession.
They're going to have to play with some urgency if they do get possession because they already called their timeout. So they're going to whatever they do is going to have to be quick and on the run.
You're right. Spencer Pike now has a step on Bergsma. Curls back out. Still has plenty of time. Pike now with Bergsma on him. Bergsma looking for some help. Gets dumped out. And it's Porga. Porga. He's going to race around. 5 on the shot clock. Trying to go to the net. Switch hand. Wide of the mark.
It's fine. Keeps the clock running.
It does.
Clock's running. Clock doesn't
Clock's
stop.
running with 12 seconds now. Going to have to hurry. 10. Bergsma's got to get it up. Out the back door. McNulty looking at Laskowicz.
He missed
Can't
the
field it
pass.
cleanly. 5 on the game clock. That's going to be it. A hard hit Pelly on a play. That's going to be it. The Paris Riverwolves will be headed to the final one more time, and hopefully Josh Medeiros is okay with that hit at the end of the game. But what a game and what a finish as the Riverwolves hang on for a 14-13 win, and they have punched their ticket to tomorrow's All-Championship Cup final, where they will face the top seeds, the St Catharines Shockwave. And before we sign off, Darcy, I want to thank you, of course, for being here, but give me your final thoughts about this game here. It certainly worked out exactly like you said it would.
Sure, they battled right till the end. It was back and forth the whole fourth quarter. Oshawa never gave up, or Paris never gave up when they got down a little bit at the beginning. And then it was just a good back and forth game. Good game to watch, good game to be here to see.
Certainly was, and a valiant effort by the Outlaws, just coming up a goal short. Congratulations to the Riverwolves as they will be in our All-Cup final. And just a reminder, Championship Sunday will start at 12 noon. It's the women's finals, Riverwolves, Shockwave, and now the men's final at 3, the Riverwolves and the Shockwave. So I want to thank my partner here for filling in for Blair Campbell and Darcy Palace. Of course, the JVI production crew, Gary Morrison, Matt Herrick, thank you very much for your outstanding work. We will be back here tomorrow for 2 championship games. I'm Lance Wynn. We'll see you next time.
Sports Network.